So we need to really look to put things back into a proper perspective if we're going to look to try to really be true to ourselves and at the same time have a fulfilling relationship with whoever it is that this marriage is going to take place with.
Now, these are some of the eternal issues that one as the individual might go through, but now you have some external issues with, say, the parents, where the parents, they want to pick the spouse. They're not kind of letting their child, or maybe it's not even a child now, the woman, she's 24, 25, she's an adult, he's an adult, and of course the parents should be involved in this, but how far do you, and where do you draw the line where they're like, no, you're going to marry this girl, this guy from my village, from my town, who I pick, he's got to have that doctor's degree, 3 of them, 4 PhD, whatever the case, but you get what I'm saying, how do we address this?
This is one of the hard problems to deal with, especially depending on certain cultures where parents are still very dominant in their children's lives, where parents feel that they have all the say. And, Islamically, we're supposed to love our parents and we're supposed to respect them, but at the same time, the parents are supposed to really recognize that they should be more interested in what's best for their kids. And the way that they may perceive the better person to be for their wife, for their son, or a husband for their daughter, it may not really be what their son or daughter is looking for. So there really has to be a true sense of communication, a humbling between the two, so that this way they can look to make the best thing happen for their son or daughter. And there's more that can be definitely talked about with regards to that.
Okay, now we got another very important point, the high dowries. We discussed this a little bit in our last show, but let's go over this quickly, the high dowries.
Correct. The dowry, the mahar, basically the gift that is given to the wife by the husband, as is the Islamic tradition, and not the opposite, as is the case with certain different cultures where the wife is supposed to give the dowry to the husband. The Islamic one is that the husband gives to the wife, but there's such an expectation of it's so much. Sometimes you'll have the illusion that you're actually purchasing the person instead of actually marrying them. And that's just the dowry. And then you add on top of it all the other financial requests and obligations and burdens of jewelry and furnishings of an apartment and home and this and that, and the ceremony itself. It's just mind-blowing.
Can you make it happen if both parties are in different locations? This is something also where, okay, you might have someone in mind, but they're on the opposite end of the world?
Well, this is one of the more common happenings today, especially with the world becoming as one community, one village, where people are meeting each other or having people that are introducing them, and yet they're in different locations, whether it's within the same state or within the same country or perhaps on the other side of the globe. It can be done. But again, the proper steps need to be taken to make sure that there is no harm, that there is no treachery that's involved in any of this.
Okay, another one dealing with the differences of age, race, social, economical status, this point of a deterrent also.
And this goes back to some of the standards that people hold in place for themselves. Where a girl, for example, who's very sensitive of her age says, I cannot marry somebody who's younger than me. And in doing so, she perhaps maybe excludes the person that would be the best husband for her. Or likewise, a husband who, the man who's looking to marry, but he doesn't want to marry somebody who's outside of his race, outside of his culture. And so every time we look to limit our selection by self-imposed restrictions, whether it's age, whether it's culture and race, whether it's socioeconomic status of the person and educational level and so on and so forth, if we're not going to be looking at the core criteria and qualifications and we base it on these issues, then we're really harming ourselves and we're not in any way adding anything positive to this process of finding that right person.
What is that solution when someone brings up as an excuse the education aspect of it?
There's no contradiction between the two. That's the first thing that needs to be clear in the minds of the young couples or the young brothers and sisters that are looking to get married, and also in the minds of their parents. There's no contradiction. There's nothing that says that these are, the anti of the other. that if you go to school, you can't get married, or if you're married, you can't go to school. If that's understood, then the next step is to understand that it can actually better things for you. If the young man and the young woman that are looking to finish up their studies, and they go about it the right way, they can actually have a better chance at fulfilling their educational and career goals, because their core needs are also being at the same time addressed. Loneliness is a very serious issue, and because of it, it's even more of an issue when people are on campus or they're in college and they see others in relationships where there's emotions of love and affection being expressed, and yet they themselves are trying to remain good, righteous, and with that, they're trying to focus on their studies. So they're becoming depressed, they're not able to focus and study as well as they like, or they're playing games where they're allowing shaitan to trick them into thinking, I can, focus on my studies, but I can do some of the other things of what were addressed to try to basically take care of the symptoms and the needs and whatever it is that I have until I actually finish up my studies. But one of the things that's also clear, and this is something that those who are listening know, there really doesn't seem to be an end to the studies, to the education, or to the goal, to that limit, that boundary that's set. Because what happens once they finish up their undergrad, they finish up their 4 or 5 years of their bachelor's? The next step is what? I need to go ahead and finish up some grad studies. I need to go ahead and do my master's, or perhaps complete my PhD, or finish up med school, or engineering, or law, or whatever the case is. And in the process, you add another several years to it. And so again, you're not going to get married because you feel it's going to be the same issue, the same distraction, but there's several more years of punishment or self-inflicted punishment upon yourself. And you're at the same time keeping yourself open to the problems that shaitan, that the devil, he throws in you. I mean, let's be real. Everybody knows that there's desires within us, that there's lust there. There's many things of temptation that are out there trying to take us away from what we know is correct. And so this is one of the things that really needs to be put into proper context, and hopefully it's understood by our brothers and sisters.
It looks like we are out of time for this episode of the Deen Show, but we're going to have to invite you back, and we're going to have to continue giving the people, inshallah, God willing, the solutions to some of these points that we brought up that many people out there are facing.
Inshallah.
So are you willing to come back and finish this up?
Definitely.
Because you started it. We got to finish it.
You started.
Yes, both of us. All right, so thank you for being with us.
Jazakumullah khairan. Allah reward you.
Thank you. You too. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Deen Show. So you got to hear some of the obstacles that keep people away from something that is so beautiful. Coming together with that man or that woman, the woman coming together with the man coming together with the woman, to do things right, to do it the way that is pleasing to the Creator of the heavens and the earth. So now, with that said, we invite you to come back, same time, same channel. If you miss us on the TV, you can catch us at thedeenshow.com, THEDEEN show.com. And then, until then, we'll see you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم